Greetings, children of the screens, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here, and today I'm going to be bringing you the first part of several videos where I'm going to go over my top picks for comics that came out in 2017. The overall criteria for these lists are that the book did not have to start in 2017, but it had to be running in 2017, and also, especially if it's a miniseries, the book had to be a certain way through. So for miniseries that are like 12 issues or 8 issues, they had to be at least halfway. For the others, I just had to get them far enough along in their run that I got a good sense of what that book was doing for 2017. So first off is going to be the DC books, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into those. Alright guys, here we go. These are my top 3 picks for DC Comics, and I want to reiterate, I'm not saying these are the best 3 comic titles that were put out by DC in 2017. I'm saying they are my favorite, or the ones that worked for me the best. So at number 3, we have Detective Comics. A lot of people have had different views on Tom King's run on Batman. I think I've liked it better than some people, but at the same time, I do kind of feel that a lot of Tom King's stories might work better a few years removed from the current continuity. Like, for instance, The War of Jokes and Riddles, I think, works better as an out-of-canon story, just because of the implications of that story, but obviously, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Detective Comics. Now, Detective Comics I love for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, there have been a few story arcs that haven't been as strong as others, but I really love the team they've assembled. Specifically, I think that Batwoman is done very, very well in this book, definitely better than she's been done in her solo book, the way that she leads the team, and just the choices she has to make throughout the book really say a lot about her character. Similarly, the stuff they've done with Tim Drake, first taking him away and then bringing him back, and like his aspirations and hopes for the Bat family and for Gotham have been really awesome, and it's also helped kind of steer Batman towards a more hopeful path, which, by the way, kind of dovetails with what Tom King's been doing with the character over in Batman. And you still get a good bit of Batman in this book, so that's nice as well. But more specifically, my favorite thing about this book, freaking Clayface, man. I love Clayface. He's one of my favorite Batman villains ever since Batman the Animated Series did him so great, voiced by Ron Perlman. It's still one of the creepiest animated episodes of TV I've ever seen. It's so good, and I love that character so much, and what they've been doing with him in this book has been amazing. Like, working him into the Bat family, seeing how he functions so well, and then presenting a situation where after a certain period of time that will all get taken away from him has been really beautiful and heartbreaking. And despite any faults that some story arcs or some issues have had in the art department, I've really enjoyed this book quite a bit. So next on the list we have Super Sons. Super Sons has been absolutely awesome. There has not been a single issue of this book that I have not enjoyed thoroughly, which is saying something because I am one of the people who is not the biggest fan of Damian Wayne. I will say that for whatever faults they have, the DC animated movies have actually done a really good job in developing his character over the course of those films, which helped lighten me up to him a little bit, but this book, in particular, in conjunction with, Teen Titans that's been going on right now, has really done a lot to make him a character that I genuinely enjoy reading, and am genuinely interested to see what happens with him in the future. Jonathan Kent is freaking awesome. He's like everything you could want out of a Superboy, and he's new, so there's still a lot of unexplored territory, and the way that they've been kind of dealing with all those things, and his want to join the Teen Titans, and just like him trying to find his place in the world is really fantastic. Also, because it is the Super Sons, you still get a fair amount of Superman and Batman, which is always nice. And even when we get them, it's not just like, hey, here's Superman and Batman. Like, we're always either learning something new about them, or reminding us of something, or reestablishing something in this universe that might have been missing from New 52. So it's always used well. The artwork's always fantastic. The stories have been fun. And where that's going right now, with the Super Sons of Tomorrow having just ended, I have nothing but high hopes for the future of the book and can't wait to see what it does next. Right on, guys, for the number 1 slot this year, if someone had told me a year or two ago that this book would be my number 1 pick, I would be like, yo, man, you eating crazy pills, Holmes. Superman! What? Like, okay, I've never had a problem with Superman. I've always kind of liked Superman, but, I've never cared, really, about Superman. Not really, if I'm being honest. He's cool in the Justice League animated show. His animated show was cool. The Flash cartoons are cool. But, it's never been a character who I went out consistently and picked up every book. For me, there was always this issue with Superman where, I love All-Star Superman, Superman for All Seasons, American Alien, those are all great depictions, mostly because they focus in on the man. And I feel that, like, in a lot of the stories, the mix of trying to get Superman's moral and trying to get action into the book always were conflicting things that I could never quite reconcile. But with this book, with this Superman Rebirth, man, they brought in John, they gave him the family, and for me, that's one of the things that really works, like, because he has John, a son, who's just coming into being a man, and just coming into his powers. Superman has, like, a nurturing, loving relationship and environment and a sounding board for all of his morals and his messages, where then, because of that, when it comes time just to kick butt and do awesome action, you can do that and go all out without having to worry about that, because you've already, like, set up the foundations of the morals and point of view of your Superman through the family aspect of this book. Action Comics has been doing a great job of it too. They've been doing a lot of great stories, but man, I've bought every issue of this, and I have never in my life bought consistently Superman stuff. Not just Superman comics, but Superman movies or any of that. Like, it's just not one of the characters that was always one of my big draws. But with this book, especially in 2017, man, I freaking loved it, okay? And now it was hard for me to pick these three, by the way, guys. I know you're going to think there's a lot that I missed, but I didn't miss them, trust me, okay? Like, Flash was awesome. Batman Beyond was awesome. The Green Lanterns has been awesome. Freaking Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, with Ethan Van Sciver drawing it, has been freaking insane, man. And then also DC's had all these other cool books coming out, a lot of which did not make it into my top three simply because they weren't far enough along in their run. So now I'd like to mention those to you real fast. First off with that, some people have been kind of iffy on Tom King's run on Batman, but no one is iffy on this. Frickin' Mr. Miracle is off the chain, guys. If you haven't started reading this book, I don't know what you're doing with your comic book love and life, okay? You got the poster. The dude at the store, I was like, hey man, come on, no one cares about Mr. Miracle. Like, what's up with the poster? So I got the poster. Everyone cares about Mr. Miracle now because this book is so freaking awesome. Go get this book. It only didn't make the list because it just hit the halfway point this week. Otherwise, it would have been on there. Next coming up is, obviously, Batman White Knight by Sean Gordon Murphy. Holy crap, this book is amazing. The way that it mixes all the different versions of Batman's, like, continuity into one thing, and, like, what they're doing, like... Also, I've always had this kind of running joke that's not... It's a joke because it's ridiculous, but I also kind of believe that, like, Batman's not a hero. He's not a superhero. He's a freaking terrorist who just happens to be on our side. And, again, that's a joke, but it's a point that can be argued, and this book kind of seems like it's starting to argue it, which is awesome. It's just an interesting, cool take on the characters in the mythology that we already know, kind of, like, collaged and, like, transposed into this new thing. It's freaking awesome. Also, there's Doomsday Clock, but again, that's just on issue 2, so I really don't even feel like it should fit on the list here, but I've really liked the first 2 issues, despite the end of the second issue being a little for me, but basically, guys, this year was great for DC. I grew up as a Marvel kid, but DC, this was just the year of DC. They were killing it, man. And with all this new stuff they got coming out, I have nothing but high hopes. It should be really awesome unless you guys screw it up. Don't screw it up. But I got faith in you guys. Jeff Johns, I trust you. DC guys, DC artists, writers, you guys are kicking butt. Keep it going. Right on, guys. That was my list for my top 3 DC books of this year. What did you think? Did you like these books? Were there other things that would have made your list? Let me know down in the comments. Like this video if you liked it, and make sure to share it with some friends. If you're not subscribed, then go over there and make sure you subscribe so you can check out the rest of my list, as well as all the other awesome content I'll have coming out in this oncoming year. Thank you guys very much. Have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.